Okay, let's focus. Equation of circle. Here is the standard form equation of a circle. It is there on your green sheet. Let's talk about a few of the details. I am talking, y'all are not talking. Equation of the circle, okay? Here's one of the most common mistakes people make. That constant that is on the opposite side of the equal sign is equal to r squared. So to find the radius, you are going to have to take the square root of that number that is right there. Okay, to find the actual length of the radius, you have to take the square root of the number on the other side of the equal. Okay? So I've got it on the left side here. On your paper, I've got it on the right side. It doesn't matter. It's the number that's on the other side of the equal sign by itself. All right, here's the other thing. The equation, the standard form equation of a circle tells us the center of the circle and it tells us the radius. But here's the other common mistake. Notice these minus signs right here, x minus h, y minus k. That tells us to do what? Anybody remember? We got to change the signs. So if that's x minus 2, then the x-coordinate of the center is at positive 2. You change the sign when you identify the center. Okay, you change the sign when you identify where the center is. All right, so let's look at a couple of examples here. We're going to start by identifying our center and our radius, and then we're going to graph it based on that. Okay, so I go back to a very simple example like this because when there's no h and k, people freak out. But if it's just x squared plus y squared, where's our center?
Origin.
At the origin. Okay, it's like x minus 0 squared. X minus 0 squared is x squared. Y minus 0 squared is y squared. So our center is at 0, 0. Our radius is the square root of that number on the right side. So it's the square root of 36, which is 6. So if we're going to graph this, we have to graph it by hand because unless we really work at it to manipulate that equation, we have no way to put it into our calculator. So we have to know how to graph this by hand. Mark your center. Just put you a little tiny dot because technically it's not really part of the graph, but that's your reference point. So it's at the origin here. The easiest way to mark off the radius is to go up 6 from the center, right 6 from the center, down 6, and left 6. And then we just need to connect these points, not with straight lines. Do not draw a diamond on your paper. Try your best to make it look like a circle. Okay, mine usually look either too fat or lopsided, but I do my best. They definitely don't look like straight lines. It doesn't look very much like a circle, but it doesn't look like square either. So, sorry, never promised to be artistic. I try. That's my buddy down on 4th Hall. Okay, we good with that? Okay, let's do another one. Let's look at number 8 there on your paper. You might have to, I think you have to flip over the page to look at number 8. Let's do one that doesn't have a center at the origin. Okay? So, you can make fun of your pictures in a minute. Number 8. Okay, x minus 1 squared. That means the x-coordinate of our center is at positive 1. Okay, x minus 1 means the x-coordinate of the center is at positive 1. Y plus 3 means the y-coordinate of our center is at negative 3. Our radius is the square root of that number on the right side, so the square root of 4 is 2. Just as a side note, and I can't remember whether I put one on here or not, if the number on the other side is not a perfect square, just take the square root and use the decimal value, okay? Just take the square root and use the decimal value if it's not a perfect square, okay? So let's graph this one. Go to positive 1, negative 3. That's our center. From that point, our radius is 2. So we go up 2 from that point. We go right 2 from the center. We go down 2 from the center. And we go left 2 from the center. Usually my smaller circles look more circular than my bigger ones. That looks pretty good. I'm proud of that one. It's a little bit easier when the points are closer together. Okay, so the big thing is you got to take the square root of that number on the right side. You got to change the signs when you identify the center. Okay, it's not difficult. You just got to remember those details.